Suspenseful, it is 1943. You are sitting on a dusty, rattling train. The window blinds are pulled down tight. You do not know where you are going. Your ticket simply says, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Why all the secrecy? Because you are a brilliant physicist, and the government needs you for a project so heavily classified. Even the vice president of your nation does not know it exists. Dramatic pause. Welcome to the Manhattan Project. You arrive at a place the military calls Site Y, but you will come to know it as Los Alamos. It is a makeshift, muddy town built entirely in secret, sitting high on a mesa in the middle of the desert. It is surrounded by thick barbed wire. It is guarded day and night by armed military police. You are not allowed to tell your family what you are doing. You are not allowed to use your real name on public documents. Your only address is a single post office box, P.O. Box 1663. You are completely cut off from the outside world. Why are you here? Because the world is burning. The deadliest conflict in human history is raging across Europe and the Pacific. But there is a terrifying rumor spreading through the intelligence community. The opposing faction in dark uniforms across the ocean is trying to build a super weapon, a weapon that harnesses the very power of the atom. Urgent. If they build it first, the world is lost. You must beat them to it. Your job is to build a device that releases unimaginable energy. You are working with materials that are completely alien. Uranium-235, plutonium, things that have barely existed in nature before this moment. Every single day is a frantic race against time. Suspenseful, you work in a cramped wooden laboratory. The air is thick with cigarette smoke and the endless clacking of mechanical calculators. You are trying to solve a seemingly impossible puzzle. How do you smash enough radioactive material together fast enough to create an explosion without it melting down in your face first? Sounds impossible? It almost is. The science is maddening. You and your team are divided into different groups. Some are working on a gun-type design. They want to shoot one piece of uranium into another piece of uranium through a dark metal pipe. It is simple, it is reliable, but uranium is incredibly rare. You are working on the harder problem, the implosion design. You want to take a solid sphere of plutonium and crush it inwards using conventional explosives. You have to squeeze a solid metal ball until it becomes denser than anything on Earth. If the explosives do not fire at the exact same microsecond, the sphere will just blow apart. No chain reaction, no superweapon, just a massive waste of time, and time is running out. The danger is not just theoretical. It is sitting right in front of you on a wooden desk. You are literally holding the power of a star in your bare hands. Urgent. You and your colleagues perform highly dangerous experiments. You call it tickling the dragon's tail. You use a long wooden tool to push blocks of heavy, radioactive metal closer and closer to a plutonium core. You watch the radiation counters tick, click, 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 click. If you push the blocks a millimeter too close, the metal will go critical. A silent flash of blue light will fill the room. Your DNA will be shredded by radiation, and you will not survive the week. Dramatic pause, your hands sweat. You hold your breath. You separate the blocks just in time. You survive another day, but you know the dragon is always waiting. Months turn into years. The town of Los Alamos grows. You live in hastily built wooden houses with thin walls. The water runs out constantly. The mud in the streets ruins your shoes. But the intellectual energy is intoxicating. You are working alongside the greatest minds of the century. J. Robert Oppenheimer, the brilliant and poetic director of the lab, walks the halls looking thin and exhausted. General Leslie Groves, the military commander, is constantly breathing down your neck, demanding results. The pressure is absolutely crushing. The war in Europe finally ends. The opposing faction in dark uniforms is defeated. But the war in the Pacific rages on, brutal and unrelenting. The military leaders demand the weapon to end the fighting once and for all. Finally, it is July 1945. The implosion device is ready to be tested. It is a giant, ugly, round metal sphere covered in wires. You just call it the gadget. Suspenseful, it is July 16, 1945, 5:29 a.m. You are lying face down in the cold, wet dirt of the Jornada del Muerto desert, the journey of the dead man. You are wearing dark welding goggles. You are huddled in a trench miles away from the towering steel structure where the gadget hangs. Urgent. The countdown begins over the loudspeakers. 10, 9, 8. Your heart pounds so hard it hurts your chest. You squeeze your eyes shut. You press your hands over your ears. 3, 2, 1. Dramatic pause. The world turns white. It is a light brighter than 1,000 suns. It is entirely silent at first. You feel a searing heat on the back of your neck, like an oven door opening right next to your skin. Then the shock wave hits, a deafening physical roar that shakes the earth and knocks the breath out of your lungs. You slowly stand up. You look toward the horizon. A giant, swirling orange smoke puff is rising rapidly into the dawn sky. It churns and boils, turning purple and green, forming a massive, terrifying mushroom shape that reaches into the stratosphere. Wah, you have done it. You have unleashed the fundamental power of the universe. Around you, scientists cheer. They laugh. They shake hands. But as you watch that violent cloud rise miles into the atmosphere, a cold, heavy dread washes over you. You remember the ancient Hindu scripture running through Oppenheimer's mind at this very moment. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. Dramatic pause. Within a month, your creation will be dropped on 2 cities. The war will end abruptly. Millions of lives will be spared from a prolonged invasion, but hundreds of thousands will be erased in a single blinding flash. You pack your bags to leave Los Alamos. You look back at the barbed wire one last time. You helped end the greatest conflict in history, but you also changed the world forever. The atomic age has officially begun. And you are the one who opened the door. Will humanity survive what you have created? Only time will tell.